My friend ordered a lesser-known tryptamine off the internet via a research chemical website. The chemical name for it is N-N-diprotryptamine, or DPT. I was familiar with a few psychedelics at the time. I had tried for ACO-DMT before, which I figured would be quite similar. I was an avid cannabis smoker as well, so I figured maybe I knew something about something. There's only one place to start with this story, and it's from the beginning. Nighttime in a small room in the suburbs. I sat down at my desk and pulled open the drawer. Hidden under rubbish was the light, the connection, the powder. I pulled it out and opened the bag. It smelled pretty strange. Out of a journal page was ripped and then put on the desk. DPT followed on waves. Into the shore of whiteness across the dried plant sheet. On the page was now 75 milligrams of DPT, which was a guess, because I didn't have a scale to measure it properly. I wouldn't recommend doing this, it's potent stuff. I took out a straw and snorted the strange powder. Wow, what a burn. I drank about 2 giant glasses of green tea and landed myself on my leather couch. I felt myself sinking into something. It comes on fairly fast. I haven't done DMT yet, but I would say based on my research and listening to McKinnon that this is quite a different venture. Now my sense of time was quite off, but I would say I could feel myself coming up. After about a minute or two, my body slowly came up with this extremely euphoric feeling. Something so elated and free that I had never experienced, and I haven't experienced again since. If saying Cloud 9 was ever appropriate, that truly would fit it. After some moments, time wasn't as obviously observable. At this point, I started to feel my mind completely and utterly altered. I could feel the waveforms around me, flowing through me, and I felt it as if, while still in my body, I was sinking into some sort of weird hyperspace. But while still half in this dimension, my eyes were closed for somewhat, just feeling this honestly indescribable feeling. And then I opened them. This is when things truly got strange. I was sitting almost completely in the dark, except for the street lamp barely emitting visible light through my window. Sitting in the chair in front of me was a figure, beginning to illuminate, starting from its head down, not quite to its chin, like a strange light shadow casted over something. It was staring right at me. Not the me I was always thinking I am. The real me. My real self. At this point my ego shell had been slowly stripped away until I was completely naked. But it wasn't an uncomfortable naked. It was just like taking off dirty clothes that I had been wearing since my induction into society. It was like being a newborn baby, in the sense that one doesn't understand the reflections that others project onto them, to give them their refracted perception of their self. I was a pure soul, and this being could see right into me. But I wasn't scared. I was amazed and speechless. I could tell you what it looked like. A giant, elongated dome head with a huge, pitch black eyes, gray skin, the color of dirty snow. And just like that, I can't recall. A moment passed, and I recall sitting and just listening in the complete silence to an X, a post-worldly symphony of vibrations. Zoom and zaps and zips and all the music my creative god self could conjure. Anything, everything. It's all inside. I just didn't know it yet. It hits you hard. Without the movement of your finger, I can create almost anything. And it is so beautiful. But at this point, I know it's not really just me. Words can only paint a picture around the reality of a situation. Experience is real. Believing is now seeing. As I said, perception of time went out the window. So my next memory frame is this. As I laid on my couch, I felt the biggest surge of sexual energy I have ever felt. It was like all the hidden energy around me was tunneling into my chakras. I felt like I was on fire with emotion and energy. Then 2 fairies came to me and started caressing me. The rest I will leave to your imagination. Next frame. I am now in my garage smoking a cigarette. I am at a super conscious level, and my senses are also the most heightened they have ever been. I am not exaggerating any of this. If anything, this is all an understatement. Wow. Smoking the cigarette was so bizarre, and it felt like such an abstract thing to do. I could smell and taste every particle, and the smoke made strange fractals. The voices came. The only thing I could really say is that it was like a meeting in my head of people who weren't exactly me, but were part of me at the same time. Or rather, I was a part of them. It was like an alternate reality version of myself, or like multiple spirit guides. A few of them were saying things like, this one, this one's going to change things, don't you think? And then only one of them was saying something like, oh, I don't know. Then a few were saying, this one will do great things. And then, in solitude again, was the voice of doubt, until it stopped saying anything and was convinced my soul was capable of something unique to my situation. The overall experience, I would say, lasted a few hours, but I'm not exactly sure. Time warps then when you're there, but you're still here. I would say it was one of the most mind manifesting experiences of this natural life. I wasn't quite the same afterwards, although I had slipped back into my ego patterns. I know where I can find something special in my mind and in myself